Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Playoffs Show. What? Yes, I changed the name. And the Contender app, the Contender, where you can download and have 24/7 sports access commercial free. Here we are again on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is that? I figured it at 8 p.m. Chilean time. Catalina, is that right? I had no idea they were 2 hours ahead. I don't know how geography works, but whatever the case may be. Anyway, yes, come down to the Comedy Cellar if you are in the West Village in Manhattan and see the best shows you can. If you saw me on Judge Jerry this past Friday with me and Rachel Feinstein and the hilarious Mike Pichetti, you would have seen me completely mention the Comedy Cellar multiple times, and Judge Jerry even confirmed it's the place to be. So now they should have a little sign outside the cellar that says Judge Jerry approves, an approved Judge Jerry location. But that all being said, hello, and I hope everybody had a lovely weekend. It's very freezing today in New York City. It's about 10 degrees, and that's rather chilly. And I kind of like when it gets cold. I like when people complain in January that it's cold. What the hell's the matter with people? I told you I live in a doorman building, and when people come in, they're like, "Oh, it's cold out there." Well, no kidding, it's cold. That's like going to your doorman and just saying, like, "Is the mail in yet?" That annoys the crap out of them. I'm telling you, if you live in that building and you're that guy, don't be that guy. They don't want to tell everybody if the mail's in. Just check your goddamn mail, or do what I do and never check. I only check. Well, I used to check every Tuesday. Now I only check once a month. There is no reason to check mail. I don't know why people are so obsessed. We all know when we get an Amazon package, that's the most important thing that there is. Hello, everybody who's in the chat room. So great to see everybody. Anything goes. Catalina, Marcy, who has COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling okay. I don't know what 35 degrees Celsius is in Chile. I don't know how that works. We're pretty stupid here in America. We can't figure out the metric system or Celsius. So 35 Celsius, what does that mean? 100 degrees? I don't know. It's all fakakta. But anyway, yes, breaking news at 95 degrees. Thank you, Anonymous. Wow. That sounds, let's move to Chile. What the hell are we doing here? Now I feel like an idiot. I've always said that the funny thing is when people complain about the cold temperatures, there is a place we could go, and it's called California, like Los Angeles, Southern California, where the weather is perfect every day. I mean, perfect every day. So we don't have to put up with it, so I'm not sure why we do. Why complain about it? We choose to live here, and it's not like we're 13 and we can't move anywhere. We're adults. We can move wherever we want. So it's tough complaining about the cold. Anyway, breaking news. The Giants, the New York Giants, just fired their head coach 15 minutes ago. Hallelujah. Yes, I just got it confirmed by Mr. Lenny Marcus, who works for the NFL. The Giants got rid of this idiot. What do I call? I have his name is. I'm thinking of Judge Jerry. His name is Judge. Why can't I think of his first name? I keep thinking of Mike Judge and Judge Jerry, so I'm having trouble. But anyway, he's gone, and it's really important that he's gone because he stinks, and he was stupid, and every press conference he did was even worse than the next, and then he just doesn't seem to get it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Anything Goes. He says if it's 95 in January there, it must be 150 in August. You should probably stay out of Chile. Yeah, thank you for laughing at that, Kelly. But yes, it's that's great news for all Giants fans. It's because the general manager resigned, and he was going to get fired anyway. This guy Dave Gettleman, and if you keep the coach and you don't let the general manager come in who's going to be new and do his job, you're making a huge mistake. That never works out, unless it's, Vince Lombardi. You'd be afraid to get rid of him. And then the general manager would be like, well, I'm not getting rid of him. Unless it's this unbelievable coach, like a Belichick. Who's going to get rid of, if they get a new general manager because the guy resigns, who has the guts to get rid of Bill Belichick? Exactly. So it's not, but it ain't like that. This guy stinks. And he's really bad at everything he does, and he's stupid, and he's gone. Congratulations to our Giants fan. They got rid of a whole bunch of coaches. They weirdly got rid of the Miami Dolphins coach, which I thought was strange because I thought he was doing a good job. So I don't know what the hell's going on by there. I'm glad everybody else is getting rid of their coaches, and the Jets actually kept one. So that's new for us. Anyway, last night, the Georgia Bulldogs win the national championship. I bet on the other team, but that's okay. I didn't like that whole game anyway. I didn't know what to pick, so that's on me. But very exciting game, or well, not really exciting. Well, it was okay. Yeah, it came down to the wire, so that's always good. A good national championship was had by all, and Georgia wins for the first time. Well, it's funny. They say for the first time in 40 years, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, 40 years, they probably won in the 60s, but they won in 1980, and that's just sad for me because, oh, I was way alive then. And I keep thinking 40 years ago, oh, I wasn't born then, but I was. And also, just so we're getting down to everything, the Colts game. I mean, these people stink. The Indianapolis Colts are a stupid organization. I'll always be mad at them because of the way they treated Peyton Manning on his way out. So screw you. And you guys have to be the stupidest organization. And I'm a Jets fan. You guys have to be stupid. First of all, I told you I hated Carson Wentz, but I don't hate him. I'm just saying he's a loser. You know, he's a loser in Philly. Like, he's never going to get you there because he'll either get injured or he just messes something up like he did last week. Apparently, I didn't even know this. I thought they were already in the playoffs. Apparently, they needed to win against the worst team in the league with the worst record. Just win. Remember, they were favored by like 16 points, and they lost. And they lost big. They weren't even in the game. And they are not in the playoffs because this guy, Carson Wentz, can't get to the big picture, which is why there's his replacement, a huge statue of him in Philadelphia, and not Carson Wentz. It's hilarious. And I've always said that weighs on his mind, and that's why he'll never win the big one. And I guess I was right. It turned out, I thought he was proving me wrong this year because he was playing really well. But in the end, as always, he stinks, and they just look stupid. That's something the Jets would do, lose to a really bad team to not get in the playoffs. I'm so grateful it's happening to somebody else. Also, our producer, Mike, got really screwed this week in our football pool. If the Chargers had won, and it was so close, he would have won the pool. But no, the Raiders kicked a field goal. Now, that game, Sunday night, which was the last game of the regular season, what did they say? It was game like 268 or something. It was amazing. And the scenario was, if they tie, both of them go to the playoffs. If they tie, which is unheard of, right? So all they really have to do is not play the game, and they both go to the playoffs. If somebody wins, the other one goes home, and vice versa. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for some reason, they just needed one person to win, and they go to the playoffs. But if they tie, the Steelers don't go to the playoffs. I never heard of a scenario like that before. So as it comes out, the Chargers, this great, amazing guy, Justin Herbert, and they should be in the playoffs, but they're not. He goes down the field, ties up the game, and you can't even believe the scenario was happening where they could tie. Right, Mike? Were you watching?
I was just looking at the score, and I was like, I thought I was already over.
Yeah, right. It seemed like the Raiders were up by like 2 touchdowns, and the Chargers came back because this Justin Herbert is very good. It's not his fault. The defense didn't hold up and do their end of the bargain. So it comes down to overtime, and there's 2 seconds left in overtime, and you think they're just going to take a knee and be polite and let the Chargers. But what we're forgetting is they hate the Chargers. The Raiders and the Chargers hate each other. They're in the same division, so they want to kick them out of the playoffs. However, if they had taken a knee and just called it a tie, yes, that would have kicked who I hate, the Pittsburgh Steelers, out of the playoffs. Good riddance. But it would have sent the Raiders to Kansas City. And that seems like an instant loss. But now they go to the Bengals. Excuse me, Marcy. And I feel that they have a fighting chance. I'm sorry about that. But so that's a good reason for kicking that field goal. And you want to win the game, of course. But you probably also want to send the Chargers home, which I feel bad. I feel like they should have gotten along and just taken a knee, and everybody would have been happy. But, whatever. Of course, I'm burying the lead today in the fact that Emily in Paris has been renewed for 2 more seasons. Well, that's not. Hold on a second. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not getting very excited about that. And for all you haters, just know that Emily in Paris rules. Thank you. I don't know why I like it. I can't explain it. My favorite movie is Clueless, and that probably shed some light onto it. But for real, unfortunately, in a very sad note, you probably heard Bob Saget died on Sunday. Couldn't believe it when I got the news. It's actually Lou Pellegrino who's going to come on the show later and make some picks with us. His wife was the one who broke the news to me, in which I was like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Because I looked it up online. I'm like, there's nothing. But I know she's really good at this. And she got TMZ, got the blast, and they said he was dead. And then all of a sudden it started pouring in. Can't even believe it. Mike, show the picture of me and Bob Saget. I'm not going to put this on Twitter or anything because I didn't know him as well as the other people who are commenting, so I don't want to be that person. But we were becoming friends. It was new. That's us in Las Vegas. That's where I guess I met him for the first time. Thank you, Mike. Not the best picture, but he was, as advertised, an unbelievable dude. Everybody's saying so. I know this for a fact because I've seen him with both of his families. His daughters, he's got 3 daughters, and I'm friendly with one of them, the Aubrey, and then he's got the 3 TV daughters, and they all love him equally. That's how great of a guy he is. And I just met his new wife. He just got married 3 years ago, and I was there when they were engaged. And then we saw each other at the Cellar like a month ago and hugged, and I saw his daughter again, and it was so nice to see him. I mean, he really was the greatest guy, and that's, of course, that's what kills you in all of this with people dying of COVID. I don't think he died of COVID or anything, and we don't know exactly what happened. I don't think there was any foul play, but when somebody dies in a hotel room in Florida, you have to think there's foul play involved or something suspicious. Nobody dies in a hotel room in Florida unless there's trouble normally. So that's what we all thought. But I had a long talk with Jeff Ross, one of his best friends, and Dave Attell last night at 4 a.m, and we were all talking about it. And we're pretty sure there was no foul play for one thing. And Jeff is unfortunately having to take care of all the needs. Him and John Mayer are stepping up because the family is devastated. His daughters, they're like, what are you talking about? How can that be? How can this happen? I mean, we're just, fans. And he was the best. And I have other information I'll give you, not secret information, just information I'll give you on my podcast this week, Just Out in the City, if you want to hear some more information that's quite interesting. But what a great guy. And it's really sad. I feel bad for his family. Jeff told me he's with the full house family today. I mean, everybody, they're all just at his house. The guy truly had 2 families. And it's kind of great to hear something like that. Those kind of Hollywood things you don't really hear about too much, but he really was great. And we had dinner together. I saw him on Broadway. We went backstage and we said hello, and he was terrific. And totally missed, and so weird. Him and Norm Macdonald gone just like that. Very strange, but and not of COVID. That's the worst part, So, yeah, it's just really frustrating. Anyway, great to see everybody in the chat room. Aunt Judy is here finally with her Jack Daniels, getting ready to go. Everybody's excited to see her. Aaron, Anything Goes, Anonymous, Catalina. So happy to see everybody in the chat room. It is the reason I believe I wanted to continue the show after the regular season was over. Just by myself with you guys. We'll take a look at some photos. We'll have a good time. There's 6 games this week. There's 4 games next week. There's 2 games the next week. It's really sad. This is when the NFL, if you love it like we do, it gets just sad and depressing in the Super Bowl, and then you're just lost for words until, and they can tell you every time. They can tell you like, it's opening day, but it's not the same. Anyway, we'll be back and make the picks after these messages.
The Contender.
The latest in sports talk content is here. Go to the App Store and search for The Contender. That's Contender with a K. We're your new favorite sports talk station with all your favorite teams, Chicago, and we're right on your phone. Double radio dial, just download for free, open to start, and set the app to allow notifications. We'll let you know every time we're covering breaking news and when your favorite shows are coming on, like Pat the Designer and the Windy City Breeze. Plus, we take your live phone calls. It's one big happy sports family. Follow us on Twitter at The Contender with a K and download the free app for your smartphone.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, man. Just want to say I hope everybody enjoyed this first year of the Contender, man. We've got another year coming for you guys, man. Just looking at the year in review, we had so much fun on the Contender this year. I will say, not a lot of wins, not a lot of big moments for my teams. Not a lot of good breakdowns as far as the Bears and Bulls went. Although the Bulls a little bit toward the end, coming into this season, we're doing pretty well. But looking back on the year, man, being able to put our audio out over the Contender airways has really been awesome for us over at the Windy City Breeze, man. It's just been an experience, especially working with James and Rob and just being able to tap into a different audience. I grew up listening to kind of radio and I always wanted to hear my voice come through on that side of things. And so for me, it was pretty awesome to just, be able to tap into that world, delve into that world, and hopefully continue as the app continues to grow, man. We had a lot of big moments. That biggest moment of the year probably is Justin Fields getting drafted to the Bears. Our reaction of that, us losing our mind, you know what I'm saying? And then, the Bears season being what it ends up being. But, hopefully next year, as we look at it, hopefully that's the season that we look to, and it becomes the season that Justin Fields blossoms in his in his second year in the NFL, the season that the Chicago Bears can find an offensive line, the season that, so here's the 2022, man. 2022 is going to be a big year for everybody in our circle, everybody around us, man, especially starting up the new morning show, the Morning Breeze, from 6 to 9 CST, Central Standard Time, for those of you out there. Just being able to do that, also being able to air that on the Contender. I believe that's going to be January 10th. We're starting that up, so it's going to be a fun year for us, man. I hope you guys all stick around. A lot of love from me and the boys over at the Windy City Breeze. Y'all stay safe out there, man.
It's the Comedy Cellar Football Show with Dave Juskow on the Contender.
Welcome back, everybody. Comedy Cellar and the Contender app, the Contender with their new morning show from 6 to 9. That's kind of cool. And, of course, the Comedy Cellar, the greatest comedy club in the country, as advertised on Judge Jerry. That's Jerry Springer. Anyway, I just want to tell you, I was talking to Catalina today in the DM, and my podcast last week, I was talking about my favorite scene from North by Northwest, and I couldn't even believe that was one of her favorite movies, and it made me so happy and my favorite line, which is like where he thinks he's about to be killed, he goes, "Now look, I have 2 ex-wives and several bartenders that rely on me." Now I'm doing a Michael Caine imitation, but you can picture I'm trying to do Cary Grant, and that's my favorite line I've always wanted. "Several bartenders that rely on me, and they'll know I'm missing." I feel like that's what I can say in my life if somebody was to kidnap me. There are several bartenders who will miss me. And that's pretty much the only people who are going to ask, "Hey, whatever happened to Juskow? He doesn't come in anymore." Yeah, it's great. North by Northwest. It's one of my favorites. It's probably in my top 5. Holds up in a way that's, different than Holding Up, because it's, old school. It's from the 50s. And I usually don't like any movies that were made before I was born, but I do like that one. And The Wizard of Oz is all right. All right, you know what? I'm just so excited. I have all these pictures, and I just wanted to, I know we always do this every week, but I'm glad to be by myself. Also, so the plan is, we do an hour each week, Tuesdays at 6, 3 o'clock Western time, whatever, Pacific. And we'll just keep it up till the Super Bowl, and maybe the week after the Super Bowl, and then we'll take a little break, and maybe we'll come back. I don't know. I like talking to everybody in the chat room, so I'm enjoying the show, and I prefer to not have any guests, because guests are stupid. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, my guests are awesome, really awesome, but I'm going to share my screen. We'll look at some photos, and we'll have a day, and then we'll bring on Lou. We'll make the picks, and everything will be terrific. So, Mike, you can see this? Or Mike? Mike is gone. But I assume everybody can see this and see my screen.
Yes, I can see it. Sorry, my
okay.
switching my mic was turned off. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure. Well, yes, of course, Catalina. 90% of the movies are before you were born, because you are a child. But I'm saying I didn't like any of the movies before I was born, even when it was like 1980. I didn't like any of the stuff from the 60s. I just like every movie from the 80s. So that because they were making movies that just, now movies are awesome. So I could watch Back to the Future 100 times, which I'm pretty sure I have. Anyway, here's that tie-up that was on I-95 last week. The awesome 20-hour, 2-day backup. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine. That would be, I want to say that was probably everybody's worst day of their lives because you don't know whether you're actually going to even make it because nobody had water supplies or anything. This shows you that you should always have some water in your car or a blanket or something, because I don't know, again, on my podcast, I was telling you guys a few weeks ago, me and my friend Outside Steve from the Comedy Cellar, we have some friends, some mutual friends, and they were driving us up the FDR Drive, and it was standstill traffic like this. Obviously not 20 hours, in a half hour backup, an hour backup. And those guys had White Claws in their car, and they started passing them out to the drivers. It was awesome. Everybody was laughing when he took it out, and then he's like, "You want some? You want some?" And they're like, "No." But some people took one because it's just a White Claw. Who cares? And you're in a traffic jam, and you're in Manhattan. You're not traveling very far, and screw everybody that says there's a problem with it. No, I was in a traffic jam and I had a White Claw. I just, but yeah, these guys are awesome. So you should always have a cooler or something in the back just in case this happens. But here's what's really weird is this is what I noticed. Look, you see this right here? This is a house. And I wasn't positive if it was a house, but then I see the other shot. It's a truck carrying a house. If I got stuck behind that and I'm sitting there for 20 hours and I got stuck beside somebody moving a house, I'd be extra furious. On the flip side of that, maybe you could go into that house and use the bathroom. So I don't know what happened there, but I would like to hear that story because that is just stupid. You can see everybody out of their cars. It's kind of like a party, except it was freezing and nobody had food or water. And if you had a baby or a dog, that's pretty bad. Anything goes, says, I always carry a Bible, a shovel, and a shotgun in case of a winter emergency. What does that sound like? Oh, it sounds like the line from Clueless. That's what I was thinking of. Listen, kid, anything happens to my daughter, I have a shovel and a 45. I doubt anyone would miss you. I'm telling you, that's unbelievable writing by our guest Molly Heckerling's mother. So that's why I like Clueless. That writing on that is unbelievable. I just like this picture. It's a tuna auction at the fish market in Japan on Wednesday. Look at all that delicious tuna. I love tuna, especially the sushi tuna kind.
Yes.
Look how it just doesn't look terrific. It doesn't look that appetizing, but it is. I would like a full tuna. I could eat that every day. I really could. Raw tuna. I know they say there's a shortage, but it certainly doesn't look like it there. Oh, good. Marcy, yes. Your sister and I, Marcy says, my sister and I quote Clueless constantly. Well, why wouldn't you? It's unbelievable. Yes, I can quote Clueless at command. Absolutely. It really is my favorite movie. I have that poster. My friend Michelle, who was on the show the second week. Why am I spacing out her last name? It starts with a Z. Gave me the Clueless poster with me in it. And she's like, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, well, if I'm really being honest, it's Clueless. So now I don't know if nobody would recognize this. I want people to take a guess, not sporadically. Marcy, I know what you're doing. You're doing the line that Ty says intelligently where Paul Rudd is like, oh, maybe it's working. But so does everybody see this photo? Where did mine go? Oh, if you can guess where it is, it's in LA. But why am I showing it? Why am I showing this sad location? Because it's funny. This is the exact location where Betty White's Hollywood star is. Oh, it just seems so sad to just on that sad block. Meanwhile, it's a happy place because it's right underneath the Starbucks. Her star is right here where I'm pointing. And the weird part is her husband's star, is right next to her. That's kind of cool. But look who she's next to. I was looking that up. Mel Brooks, Liberace, Charlie Chaplin, Janis Joplin, and Fred Astaire. So they have a bunch of jerk-offs in these horrible areas of, where I would be like, really? This is where you're putting my star? The funny story about this is is that they used to have these things in New York before legalized gambling, which, by the way, happened on Saturday morning at 9. Oh, man, that was some sweet magic. I stayed in on Sunday instead of going to Hoboken and making my bets in Jersey. I just stayed in bed until about 11 o'clock. Woke up, I'm like, I guess I'll make the bets now because I can from my living room. Even from my bed, I can. It's a goddamn miracle. So I've been betting for so long. But there used to be a place in New York City called the OTB, which was called Off-Track Betting. Mike, have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because I think it was a New York exclusive thing. It was
Right.
called Off-Track Betting. And it went bankrupt because they were horrible. And that's probably why gambling didn't come to New York for a long time, because nobody knew how to run it. And this off-track, so there was an off-track betting thing by my house. And the weirdest thing is, and I have a picture of it somewhere, Sarah Silverman had her show called the Sarah Silverman Program, which I was on. And for some reason, somehow, Comedy Central did a chalk painting advertisement, the likes which have never been seen before or after, right in front of the OTB. I'll never forget it. I was just walking by and I'm like, why is there an advertisement for Sarah? There's a picture of Sarah and her dog, just like this Betty White star in front of the Starbucks, but in front of the OTB. And I took a picture and I sent her. I'm like, I don't even know how to begin with this. Like, who decided this? Comedy Central? And why are there's never been any sidewalk advertising before or after in New York City, except for the Sarah Silverman Program in front of an OTB. That was the strangest thing I may have ever seen. Thank you. Here's a picture of Betty White and her husband, Alan Ludden, on the now classic, Odd Couple episode. I just thought I'd show that for good measure. Anything Goes just wrote, I hear rumors Sarah Silverman is nice and kind to comedians when she does not need to be and gets nothing out of it. Can you confirm? Yes, I can. I can absolutely confirm that. She loves other comics. You should see the array of 70s and 80s and 90s comics that she kind of takes care of, makes sure they're all right. You know, a bunch of people that didn't make it. And she is really kind when it comes to, she loves her boys in stand-up comedy, and now her girls as well. This picture is entitled, Children Play with a Soccer Ball in Caracas, Venezuela on Sunday. But the best part about this picture, and this is why I put it up, is like, all right, see, the one girl has a soccer ball in her hand, but you know, one kick of this soccer ball, they live on a hill, and that's the end of playing with that soccer ball. Where are they playing with that soccer on this? You know that ball's going into the boonies and never to be seen again with one kick. I just thought that was a stupid caption. She might be holding a soccer ball, but I guarantee she bounces it once and it goes over the hill, never to be seen again. And
They're that good, Dave.
Balls, what?
They're that good down there.
No. No. They're too young to be that. You really think that? No. I mean, even Beckham is going to drop the ball at some point. It's going to go over. Catalina says I'm wrong. How am I wrong? What, I'm wrong about Sarah Silverman? Wouldn't that be funny?
No.
Nope. I've heard Sarah Silverman's very mean to comics. Wouldn't that be funny? Catalina from Chile knows all about Sarah Silverman. No, she's horrible to comics. Absolutely awful. That's what I've heard. She says, you can play anywhere. The younger kid will have to go get the ball. Right. I know, Catalina, but it looks like you're going to have to be going to get that ball. That's going to take about an hour. That looks like the steepest hill I've ever seen. I believe you with that they're quick and they're Latina and soccer is big everywhere but here. But I don't know. We know how kids are, and we know they lose balls and Frisbees with the first throw. So,
well, 5 of the kids are playing fence. That's what they're not in the caption.
That what?
5 of the kids are still playing fence.
Fence? What's that?
Where they're the fence.
I don't understand.
They're pretending to be a fence.
Oh, pretending to be a fence, right? I thought they were building one. I'm like, that would be funnier. Like, let's just get the fence together. But then I saw this is from Crystal Palace, the Premier League team that my cousin owns, which is unbelievable. Mike, did I tell you that he also bought a portion of the Cleveland Guardians the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Judy knows. And this is Crystal Palace, but Did you know they played soccer with such colorful balls?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. That's a great idea. And then I was thinking, why can't the NFL do that? I mean, look how great how fun is that? Why can't the NFL do that? Why can't the Miami Dolphins play with a ball like that? I'm just using them as a good fun color. Right?
That would be
Or
fun.
I put the Vikings in for oh no, it's the Lions you like. I forgot. I messed it up. I'm sorry. It was for anything goes, right? You like the Lions? I'm sorry. I meant to do the Lions. I did the exact opposite. Sorry about that. But I put in Marcy's Bengals. Like, why can't the NFL just play with the home team's ball? You know? And then I guess soccer's superior. And then, of course, the Jets ball would have my picture on it. So that's I think we'll stop there for now. We'll come back to these. But now it's 6:30, which means, right, anything goes. I'm sorry at the Lions. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of you. I don't know what made me think it was the Vikings. I knew it was a North team, and I totally forgot, and I apologize implicitly to anything goes for that. The last thing he needed to see would be like if I was a Raiders fan, and I was like, you love the Chargers, right? Just like what we were talking about. All right. Let me bring in our friend Lou. He's the senior producer for the Cumulus Podcast Network and works on the Just Get Started podcast with Rich Eisen, and he is also a very close friend. Please welcome to Make the Picks, Lou Pellegrino, everybody.
What's up? How's it going, Dave? Everything
Hi,
good?
Lou. Nice to see you. I was telling everybody that your wife was the one who broke the news to me about Bob Saget.
Yeah. Ugh.
She is very good at knowing everything.
Yeah. Did you know that Joe Judge just got fired by the Giants, which is a wonderful thing?
I broke that news at the beginning of the show, as that was that had just happened 15 minutes ago, and it was confirmed by Lenny Marcus, who works over at the Giants. Everyone's happy. I can't imagine there's any sad faces, but I couldn't remember his first goddamn name because I was thinking of Judge Jerry.
Yeah.
Joe Judge Jerry.
By the way, wonderful appearance on Judge Jerry the other day.
Thank
wonderful
you.
appearance.
Thank you.
Mike Bichetti should be guilty no matter what.
I know. People are like, how did you lose? And I'm like, I don't know. And
You feel bad for Bichetti. I love Mike.
I don't feel
I
that
love
bad.
Mike.
No, we all love Mike. That's what made it so
Right.
funny. And the best part is, like, he's like, if he's so problematic to work with, why do you keep using him? I'm like, look at him, Your Honor. He's disgusting.
Very funny. But
what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I jumped in when you were talking about Betty White and her, star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that was near a Starbucks. That's one of the, and I hate to say, like, one of the few that I've never met. I've never met Betty White, and I would have loved to, but I do have a interesting Betty White story, which I'm sure you'll appreciate. The audience might not, but you know what? We'll give them good picks this week, so we'll make up for it. So years ago, before I was born, my parents, they didn't do a tropical island for their honeymoon. They went to Fisherman's Wharf out in California and then stopped in Vegas on their way back. As they're in Vegas, my father hears, "Excuse me, young man," turns around, and it's Betty White. My father has a very friendly face, I guess, because celebrities just stop and think they know him all the time. It's like the weirdest thing. "Hey, I know you." It's like, he's like, "Sorry, I never," but anyway, "Miss White, can I help you?" She's like, "Young man, I have to go to my shoot for Circus of the Stars, and I don't know where the set is. Can you take me?" So he gave out his arm. And my father escorted Betty White to the Circus of the Stars set. And it was just one of those little brushes with, greatness that when she passed away, my father texted me and said, "Did you see Betty White passed away?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We were just talking about your Circus of the Stars story." He goes, "That story always brings a smile to my face." And it was just so funny. But I figured you'd appreciate Circus of the Stars.
Of course, I love those kind of stories.
Yeah.
I remember my dad would always run into Tony Randall at the opera, and they would talk. And he'd be like, "What did you think of the show?" "I thought it was acceptable."
Right. Well, speaking of Tony Randall, you get nostalgic when somebody of Betty White's ilk passes away. Same thing with Bob Saget, And so I show Victoria the Odd Couple episode with Password, and we watched it. And it was about 5 minutes left, and she's like, "Is this thing almost over?" And I was like, "Oh,
what? Oh,
yeah." It was just like it hurt so much. I was like, "Oh my God,
I really like your wife."
This
and
is
now
legendary TV.
I just showed a picture from the Password thing because I love it as much as you do. My God, that's the best episode they have. I don't know why you married her. Let's go to the picks. It's time. Let me see if I got them up. I do.
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Hey.
They're up. You can see them?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. I am very excited. We have Saturday, Sunday, and the brand new Monday night playoff game. Goddamn brilliant. Can't believe they never thought of that before.
It's amazing. It really is.
It's so smart. So I was trying in my head to figure out which times would be when. I thought they'd put the Bills Patriots on Monday Night Football, but they're the big Saturday night matchup, which is huge.
Yeah.
But interestingly, Lou, do you notice if the Bengals or the Texans are playing, they're always the first game. They're always the Saturday 4:30 game. Why is that?
I don't know.
Every time those two are in the playoffs, they start off the playoff weekend. Okay, so we have Marcy's Bengals against the Raiders. Now, I do know for a fact that FanDuel has dropped this line to 5.5, which means there's Raiders money coming in. I just left it at 6 because nobody cares. Now, I know Marcy's picking. Marcy, please, we know you're picking Cincinnati. However, I got to say, I don't, this is really tough, but I've decided all week I'm going to take the Raiders. I'm going to take Cincinnati to win, but I'm going to take the Raiders with the points. I believe they might keep it close.
I'm right there with you.
You are.
I'm right there with you. I love Joe Burrow, and I love his stud wide receiver, Jamar Chase. But I just think the way the Raiders got in, I know they were going to take a knee and they were going to run the clock out and help the Chargers get in. But then when the Chargers head coach called that timeout, it just ruined the game.
So you do think the timeout had something in? Oh, wow.
Oh, I definitely think there was something where, and I don't think it was like, how could you call a timeout? But I just think the Raiders were just going to let the clock run out, run another running play, go for 3 yards or whatever, run right into the line, and the clock would have, ran out. The Chargers and Raiders both would have made the playoff.
Yeah, but Lou, if they didn't win, they would have been sent to Kansas City and probably had quite an early exit.
Oh, sure. And I totally understand that and get that and respect that. But like you said, I just think the Raiders are one of those teams that can very easily surprise you. I think they have a ton of momentum. I think they've had a lot of tragedy and darkness in their season with the whole Henry Ruggs, vehicular murder, manslaughter, whatever you want to call it. And also John Gruden. And I don't think anyone expected the Raiders to be here. So I think Cincinnati wins, but I think the Raiders, like you said, keep it close.
Yeah, I do too. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Oh, little Marcy pick action. Yep, we know, Marcy. I'm going to pick it for you no matter what anybody else says. Don't worry. I hope you win. Yeah, those Raiders, boy, they really have risen above adversity. It'd be something else if they make it a little further, I guess. What do you think? That coach of the year, is that a possibility? If you're an interim coach, is that even a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely got a shot. I mean, the Bengals did play very solid football and were one of the best teams in football for a nice 3 to 4 week stretch where they were just like beating everybody and surprising everybody and putting up a lot of points. Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I definitely think it's a possibility.
All right, here are the Buffalo Bills Saturday night against the Patriots. Third time they're playing. Second time at Buffalo Stadium or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That line is now moved to 4. There's Patriots money coming in. How could there not be? I have to take the Patriots and the points. I have no choice but to do this.
Okay.
I hate it. I want the Bills to win and cover and knock the Patriots out, but I think I must take those points.
I think the way the Patriots beat them in Buffalo with those heavy winds and rain and snow and whatever was going on, where essentially Zach Wilson. Mac Jones played, 2 passes and everybody else ran the ball, and they had a really solid performance from Damian Harris. I think the Bills have that on their mind. I think the Bills are going to play a solid home game. There's a lot of pressure on the home team to perform, but I just think this is the Bills' year to silence those Patriots, and I think the Bills win this game going away. I think it's going to be something like 31-17 or something like that.
Sounds good to me. I'm betting the overs on all the games. Mike?
I think the Bills as well.
And what are we getting from the chat room?
They're going Buffalo.
Catalina's so funny. She's like, I don't even know where Ohio is. Well, we're even. I really don't know where Chile is. So I had no idea they were 2 hours ahead. I thought they were closer to California.
Yeah, isn't that the southeast side of South America? Isn't that where Chile is?
Yes, but apparently it's east.
And you have to say it right. It's Chile. It's not Chile. It's Chile.
Oh, Chile.
Yes, there you go.
Hello.
Like filet mignon, Chile.
Chile. I will remember that forever. Okay. Here are the Super Bowl defending champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady and his greatness, and the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing really weird, and you cannot figure them out.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they'll lose by 50, and then sometimes they'll win by 20, and that kind of team is tough to bet on. The Buccaneers have not been playing their best football. It's so weird that they beat up on the Panthers last week. I really thought for sure the Panthers would at least cover, but they beat the crap out of them because the Panthers stink. But I thought the final game of the year, and I think Brady played the whole game, which is very odd for a 44-year-old to play the game that means nothing.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm going to have to let you go first this time, Lou. Maybe you'll tell me something I need to know.
You know what? I think it's the first round of the playoffs. I think 8.5 is a pretty big number. I think Jalen Hurts. Look, the Eagles have been licking their wounds after just getting decimated by the Cowboys in 2 games. They
did all have COVID, though.
Right, and I think the Eagles have finally, shaken that. I think Jalen Hurts is good enough. Their receivers are good enough that they'll be able to keep them in the game and moving the ball. Gainwell's a very good running back, and they always have Boston Scott. And I know they have recently played much better, round up the points, but I don't know. I just think the 8.5 is too big. I think the 8.5 is too big, and I think the Eagles keep this game close. I think Fletcher Cox has a big game. I think Sloan, the defensive side of the ball, has a big game as well. So I think the Eagles keep this close.
I thought that too, Eagles. But I can't stand betting against Tom Brady, number one, obviously. But number two, don't you think Brady also hates the Eagles for that Super Bowl loss?
Sure. But see, the thing right now, it's the first round of the playoffs. Not saying that you're not trying to beat your opponent. You obviously are. I think this is more of a survive and advance mode. They have the opportunity to blow them out. They will. But I think that's going to rely on the Buccaneers defense. And I still think there's some holes in that defense.
There are some holes. That's why I'm picking the Eagles too. I liked it anywhere with the 8.5. I didn't trust them. Obviously, I want to see just Tampa Bay beat the crap out of them, but I don't know. Mike, what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's going to be Tampa.
Interesting. And everybody's saying Tampa in the chat room?
Yes.
Well, this is a fantastic game. Again, just like the Eagles, very sketchy Dallas Cowboys are getting to win by 50 or lose. And San Francisco, I don't know. I would pick San Francisco. I really like San Francisco. I picked them last week over the Rams. Once we didn't know Jimmy Garoppolo was playing, so we all picked the Rams. Once he was playing, I changed my bet, not here, but in life. He makes the difference, but he's also injured. And the Cowboys play spotty, and it doesn't matter whether they're home or not. What do you think on this one, Lou?
I'm going Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have a lot to prove. I think, anytime you have there's 4 guys. I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk about the offense first. Dak is still Dak. You have Amari Cooper, and who else?
What? Now that you mention it, their defense, that Micah Parsons guy. You know what?
Micah Parsons. Too. I think Micah Parsons was in the COVID protocol. I don't know what his status is, but you have Diggs in the secondary. But you look at that offense with Zeke, with Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and then the other kid, 88, whose name is escaping me right now, CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
I think they're going to move the ball. I
think San Francisco doesn't really have anybody, and Jimmy Garoppolo's injured, so I figured they might have a plan.
And Garoppolo makes some dumb decisions. He really does. Yeah. You don't know how bad his thumb is affected.
And it's easy to beat the Rams because they stink,
right?
Mike.
I mean, Matthew Stafford's terrible. So but can he drive the ball in there? I don't know. And so going downfield is going to be tough for the 49ers. Now, if Deebo Samuel breaks out and has a big game, then there might be a little, nail biting time. But I think the Cowboys in this one going away.
Just 3 points. Mike, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Cowboys.
And what's everybody else saying? The Cowboys? I saw
They're going towards
49ers.
Cowboys. Yep.
Marcy says 49ers ain't going to pull it
And
off.
by the way, I'm an idiot. Chile is on the west side, I believe, of South
Yeah,
America.
I pulled up the map.
What did you say?
I said, I think it's the southeast side.
Oh, yeah. No, I did know at least it was on the west side. At least I knew
Right.
that.
Anything goes pointed that out.
I have no
tonight.
problem
Thank you, buddy.
picking Kansas City here. Steelers suck. They shouldn't be in the playoffs, and this shouldn't be any kind of issue whatsoever.
Yeah, I made the mistake of picking the Steelers with the points the last time they played in Kansas City, and they got completely throttled. So, I mean, that 12.5 is nothing. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to roll.
Yeah. I picked the Steelers last week because they were playing the Ravens, and you always take anything over 3.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, whoever's unfavored or the underdog. Mike, what do you think?
Kansas City.
And what is the audience saying? They haven't picked yet, so
No.
we'll wait for them. And finally, this Monday night crap game.
Oh, they're going Kansas.
They're going Kansas. This game, although it's going to be so much fun having a Monday night playoff game, this game stinks because these two teams stink. I mean, they really stink. Both of them stink. Whoever wins is going to lose next week. The Rams maybe suck more, but the Cardinals have really stunk it up and they backed into the playoffs, both of them. I have no idea what to do here except take the underdog Cardinals. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to do that as well. I think Kyler Murray needs to put a good performance forward. He was okay the last week of the season, made some bad throws, made some bad plays, but I think, he's good enough that he will be able to focus tunnel vision at the job done.
They're also good on the road.
Yeah, they are good on the road.
And
I just don't trust Matthew Stafford.
Cup, he didn't score the points we wanted, so.
I know, but I don't trust Matthew Stafford. I don't trust Matthew Stafford.
No one does.
He's an interception machine, makes stupid decisions. Don't trust him. No offense,
are you talking
Mike.
about me or
both?
I heard stupid decisions. Okay.
Both.
Mike?
I'm going to go with the Rams.
Rams.
Don't trust either team, though.
No, nobody does. And what does everybody pick? Oh, Rams. All right, good. We have it mixed up. There's the picks. You see we have Green Bay and the Titans waiting on the side. So I guess we will see. I'll probably change all my picks by game time, but that's what it is for this show. Lou, thank you so much for helping us make these picks this week.
Absolutely. Good luck, everybody.
And thank you for sharing your picks with me on Sundays now that I can bet in New York State. It's very exciting.
Always good.
Don't forget to keep me posted and say hello to the missus.
I will, definitely. Thanks.
All right. Lou Pellegrino, everybody. Lou Pellegrino. Oh. That's my radio voice. Hello, Barry Corbman. Nice to see you. That's right. Lou is great, but he needs to remember last time the Peanut Gallery went 9-4 for October 19th. That's right. Peanut Gallery did very good. Wait, why is Lou still here? What the hell is going on?
Sorry,
Mike,
my program is freezing.
I was just kidding. I was. It would be fine if he stayed the whole time. I really couldn't care less. It's just always nice to see him. All right. I have other pictures, but I want to do this with you. You tell me if you appreciate this little segment, which isn't a segment, but Elvis Costello and Olivia Rodrigo are fighting, which is nothing more than absolute hilarious. So everybody's saying that Olivia Rodrigo stole from Elvis Costello's Pump It Up from her song, what's it called? I think Brutal. So we can make the comparison ourselves today. Now, my guess is Olivia Rodrigo never, ever heard who Elvis Costello is or any of his work. Now, anybody she's working with, maybe they did. But the fact of the matter is, really, who cares? And that's the thing. So, Mike, can you play the Elvis Costello clip? And can we make sure that we hear the audio? Because it's only audio.
Right. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. I know this is complicated. I guess you have to share and then do it. So
I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
want to talk over.
Okay.
Catalina, if you don't know who Olivia Rodrigo is, then who the hell's listening? She's like a 17-year-old artist who, for some reason, is huge. Huge. All right, so I assume everybody heard that? Everybody did tell me in the chat room if you definitely did hear that. I know Mike and I heard it. I'll just assume that everybody heard it. That is Elvis Costello's beginning of Pump It Up. Now, let's listen to Olivia Rodrigo's Brutal. Thank you, Mike.
Hold on a second.
I want to be like Nessie. I'm so insecure, I think that I'll die before I drink.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely similar. I don't think there's anybody who thinks she ripped it off from Elvis Costello. It is completely, but it is completely similar. But Elvis Costello is saying, you know, who cares? I'm 100. That's rock and roll, you know, cutting and pasting. And he's totally cool with it. But you know what the thing about Olivia Rodrigo is? She's been caught for stealing before in a way. And I don't mean stealing, but can you show that picture of the hole? Yeah. See, this was her album cover for her YouTube thing. And this was Hole's classic album cover, which is a classic album cover now. And Courtney Love was really pissed about this, but that's because Courtney Love has nothing going on anymore. And so she was angry because then she's at least in the news again. Yeah, similar yet different enough. I agree, Barry. Thank you very much. But I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. We judge for ourselves. And I always like when there's a little war going on between two musicians. Do we have to call Olivia Rodrigo a musician already? She's 17. We call Billie Eilish one, but she's way cool. I'm not sure on that Olivia Rodrigo yet. We have to see where her career goes, I guess. Billie Eilish is here to stay. But, you know, when people pull and take from other people, I always think it's more of a tribute. But that was in the news today, and I always like hearing the difference, of which there was none in this particular case. Well, you know, thank you, JWB671. Great job on Judge Jerry. It's exactly what I like to hear. All right. That's what I like to hear. It was a classic, epic television performance. I don't mind saying. It really was good. Because it's fun to play the villain. And it's fun just doing an acting challenge. And Rachel was so funny. It was, right. Yeah. So you see where Chile is over here. And I guess it is. See, there's where we are. So I guess it is 2 hours difference. It's if it's 7 o'clock here, it's 9 o'clock there. Oh, we got to go. It's time to cut out. I'm sorry. You know, I guess we could have done 2 hours. I have so much more to say, but that's it for this week. Unfortunately, it went so quick. It's so weird. I guess I probably could do 2 hours, but I had so much other slides. I'll save them for next week or whatever. I hope everybody has such a great week. Listen to Just Gal in the City. We'll talk more about Bob Saget and a couple other things. And just everybody have a great weekend. I hope you do well in your football picks. And thank you for coming in the chat room. I love talking to you guys. And that's why really we could do a complete 2 hours. But keep it to 1 hour. We'll see you next week, 6 o'clock Eastern time, right here on the Comedy Cellar Playoff Show. Good night, everybody.